friends, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we will be talking about my autumn TBR, about all the books that I will hopefully read this autumn season. Now this list is very ambitious. Fall is only 3 months, and also some of these books I don't already own, so I'm not sure if I will end up buying them, if I will find them. I do have a few of the books that I would love to read this fall with me here physically, but I feel like I have a lot of books in my autumn TBR that I will have to buy. But we will see what I will end up reading, what I will end up buying or not buying. I have my autumn TBR list on my phone, so let's start right away with book number 1, which is none other than The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore, which is such an autumnal book. This has to be the most autumnal book in this list. I feel like pumpkins are the number one thing when it comes to fall. This is called The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, so I feel like this is going to be the perfect fall read. This book follows our main character, Jeannie, who is now the new owner of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Her aunt, I think, used to be the owner, but she retired and she gave the cafe to Jeannie, and now Jeannie has moved to this new little small town, which is called Dream Harbor. She needs to manage and run this cafe, and of course it wouldn't be a cozy fall read without some romance in it. She's going to meet the farmer of the small town. His name is Logan, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to fall in love. I don't know if they will like each other from the start or what the deal between these two is going to be, but I feel like this is going to be the perfect fall read because it has a cafe, it has a small town, and it has romance. So that sounds to me like the perfect cozy read. The next two books that I would love to read this fall are One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillick, and I have heard really good things about this duology. I feel like it's going to be the perfect read for fall. So One Dark Window is a dark fantasy novel with gothic undertones. The story centers on Elspeth Spindle, a young woman attempting to survive the dangerous magical world while trying to hide her own secret from the prying eyes of the Rowan king. So it sounds very dark and mysterious. I think we will also have enemies to lovers in these books. I might remember incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure that these books also have romance in them. And when I say that a book has romance in it or it doesn't have romance in it, I normally mean just a relationship, maybe banter, some communication between our FMC and our MMC, and maybe they will end up together. I don't mean spice and smut. I don't have a problem with books having spice and smut at all, but I feel like most of the books that I currently own don't have spice or smut in them. I am pretty sure. I might be wrong, but I honestly cannot wait to start these two. They have been in my TBR for quite some time now, and I have a feeling that I'm going to love the main character, Elspeth. I have another series that I would love to start during autumn, and that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I have heard mixed reviews about the series. Some people are die-hard fans, while others were not really impressed. And also have heard that there are some things in these books that have been inspired by other books, like The Hunger Games and Red Queen, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, I didn't have a clue about that. I heard that after I had already bought the books. I personally haven't read The Hunger Games nor Red Queen, so maybe the plot won't sound too familiar to me, but I guess I will need to start it and see. If you have no clue about the plot, let me give you the summary. In Powerless, we focus on our main character, Peyton, who shares a dual point of view with her main love interest, Kai. Peyton lives in the slums with her best friend, Adina, stealing whatever she can to help keep her and Adina alive. It is in the slums that Peyton robs Kai and then unwittingly saves his life. So the plot does sound really good, but again, I will have to read this and decide if they are my cup of tea or not. I have also ordered book number 2 because this is a novella. So I have book number 1, the novella, and have ordered Reckless, which is book number 2. I haven't received it yet. I'm expecting it any day now. And I'm thinking about maybe filming a complete vlog reading these books. Let me know if that would be something that you would like to watch. A dedicated vlog on Powerless. And if you don't want to watch that either, let me know again in the comments. So the next book that I would really love to read during autumn, and I don't have a physical copy of, is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I have seen this book around a lot, and I think that it was very popular last year, but I still want to read it because I have heard really good things about it. Apparently it is a very cozy witch book, and I love witches. I love reading about witches, whether it is a dark book or a cozier book. So let's see the plot. Mika Moon follows 3 rules. Hide your magic, keep your head down, and stay away from other witches. Mika is good at being alone and she doesn't mind it, mostly. But when an unexpected invitation arrives to teach 3 young witches at the mysterious Nowhere house, Mika jumps at the chance for a different life. So it does sound very wholesome and cozy, and I have read that there is also found family in the book and a romance subplot. So that sounds like a very cozy, warm read for autumn, and I think that this has to be one of the books that I will very soon buy. The next book that I would love to read during autumn is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I have already read Akhtar and Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and these are my top 2 fantasy series. I love them very, very much. So I cannot wait to start Crescent City as well. I don't know a lot of things about Crescent City. I know that it has some mixed reviews. It has some huge fans, but also a lot of people who loved the other books from Sarah J. Maas, they didn't love this series. So I have no clue if I am going to enjoy it or not, but let's see the plot. Bryce Quinlan had the perfect life, working hard all day and partying all night, until a demon murdered her closest friends, leaving her wounded and alone. When the accused is behind bars, but the crimes start up again, Bryce finds herself at the heart of the investigation. So that is the plot. I guess these are a few sprinkles of the plot. These books are massive and huge, so I think that they're going to have a lot in them. But honestly, I'm very excited to dive back into Sarah J. Maas world. It has already been over a month that I finished Throne of Glass series, and I have this itch again to read Sarah J. Maas. I don't know what she puts into her books, but her writing is so good. Her characters are so interesting and straight up phenomenal. I just love her writing. I love her books. I know that a lot of people don't, but what can I say? I am a fan. The next book that I would love to read this fall is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I have heard again so many good things about this book. I think that the second book was recently released. I might be wrong, but this book follows our main character Signa, who is raised by a string of guardians, each one more interested in her wealth and her well-being. And as I'm reading here, Signa is going to be the one who will try to uncover a murder with Death himself. So that sounds like a perfect dark, mysterious fall read. I mean, she's going to try to uncover a murder with Death himself. That is crazy. And I have no clue if Death is supposed to be also the main love interest, because I think that there is a subplot of romance in this book as well. Yeah, it does say here that it is highly romantic and gothic infused. So I guess we will have romance in the book. But I've never read a book with Death himself in it, so that sounds interesting. The next fantasy series again that I would love to start this fall is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have all 3 books here, and actually The Cruel Prince is in my September TBR, so I will be starting this very, very soon. I know that this is one of the most popular fantasy series out there, and I am a bit late to the game, but still, better late than never. This book follows our main character Jude. She and her sisters find their parents murdered one morning, and they are abducted by a fearsome assassin, and they are taken to the world of fairy. Jude hates the fairies, and also she's going to hate the MMC Carden, and I'm sure that he's also the main love interest. So I guess it will have a lot of politics here, a lot of action, betrayal, enemies to lovers, so that sounds incredible. I cannot wait to start all 3 of these. And honestly, I love how they are not super massive, huge books. I love me a huge, thick book, don't get me wrong, like this one, but I also love reading shorter books. The next book that I would love to read this fall, and because it is in my September TBR, I will be reading it very, very soon, is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the second book in a duology, and the first book is Divine Rivals. I did enjoy Divine Rivals very, very much. This story focuses on Iris and Roman, 2 young reporters who are rivals. They work at a newspaper and they're both trying to get this promotion. At the same time, we have a war happening, so they are going through a dark, hard period, and I cannot wait to see how this is going to unravel because Divine Rivals, the first book, ended in a cliffhanger in such an intense way. I really need to know what is going to happen. So during September, I will definitely be reading Ruthless Vows. The next book that I would love to read this fall is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I have heard a lot of good things about this book. I feel like lately it has been popping on Book Talk and more people are reading it and more people are enjoying it. First of all, this book has dragons in it and I love dragons in fantasy books. I can't help myself, I just love dragons. I find them so mesmerizing and exciting and thrilling to read about. So let's read the plot of the book. When a renowned bounty hunter is employed by the crown to capture a member of the Ath, Revan's world is turned upside down. Blood spills, hearts break, and Rave finds herself at the mercy of the Guild of Nobles, a group of dual-beaded elementals who intend to turn her into a political statement. Did that make sense to you? Because it didn't make sense to me. A lot of things that I don't understand what they are were just mentioned. Member of the Ath, Guild of Nobles, but I'm sure that everything is going to make sense as soon as I start reading this book. Also, have seen that this book is really big. It's a very thick book, so that's a bit intimidating, but I'm hoping that I will still enjoy it and I will grasp the idea of it, because this little summary left me a little bit lost. The next book that I am so excited to read is Heartless Hunter or The Crimson Moth. This book has a different title, I think, in the US and a different title in Europe. Here in Greece, I find it as The Crimson Moth, and I have, in fact, already ordered the book and I am patiently waiting for it. It has been a good few days that I have placed my order. I don't know where this book is coming from which part of the world, but I'm still waiting for it. The author of this book is Kristen Ciccarelli, if I am pronouncing this correctly. And this book follows a witch and a witch hunter. Again, I love witches, so I feel like this is going to be a fantastic book. Obviously, this is going to be an enemies to lovers. I'm pretty sure that the witch hunter will try to kill the witch. And will they fall in love? I don't know, because I have also heard rumors about a betrayal. So I don't know how this is going to go, if they will end up together, if someone is going to betray the other. I cannot wait, but I feel like this book is going to be one of the best books I have ever read. I know that this is a very huge statement, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a 5-star for me. The next book that I would love to read, but I don't currently have a copy of it, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have heard a lot of good things about this book, but I have also heard a lot of people say that they were disappointed in this book because the plot apparently and the whole idea behind it is really good, but then the story is not executed in the best way. But still, I don't know, I need to obviously read the book myself to judge. We can all have our own opinions, of course. So let's see the plot. The story follows a young French woman in 1714 who makes a bargain with the dark that makes her immortal, but curses her to be forgotten by everyone she meets. And it doesn't say it here, but I think that she will finally meet a person who will remember her. So that plot sounds fantastic. Personally, it sounds really good. But of course, I will need to read it first to make sure that it is in reality fantastic, because sometimes I feel like a lot of books who are maybe popular or have a fantastic plot to them, they end up leaving me disappointed. Sometimes, not always. But because it has that dark energy to it, I feel like it's going to be a really good full book. And if you have read it, I would love to hear your opinion on it. And I also want to start reading books by this author, by V. Schwab, because I have never read anything from her. The next book that I would love to read this fall is Circe by Madeline Miller. Circe was considered a witch in Greek mythology, and I cannot wait to read this book because I know that a lot of people have read it and loved it. And as a Greek girl, I think that I should start reading more Greek mythology inspired books, because so far I have read none. The only Greek mythology books that I have read was when I was in school, and everything else that I read online by articles and stuff like that, I have never read an actual Greek mythology inspired book. So this is going to be my beginning with that, and let's read the plot. In the house of Helios, god of the sun and mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Circe has neither the look nor the voice of divinity and is scorned and rejected by her kin. Increasingly isolated, she turns to mortals for companionship, leading her to discover a power forbidden to the gods: witchcraft. It sounds fantastic. It sounds really good. Again, I love witches and everything that has to do with witchcraft and magic. So I feel like this is going to be one of my favorite reads this fall. these are going to be all the books that I will include in today's video. To be completely honest, there are plenty more books that I would love to read this fall, but I feel like I won't have enough time to read all of them. And I also feel like if I sit here and continue talking about all the books that I want to read this fall, this video is going to be like 1 hour long, and I'm already tired of talking and hearing myself talk. So we need to stop. I need to drink some water, but I would love to know some of the books that you are planning on reading this fall. Let me know down below in the comments. I always love adding more and more books in my TBR. So I truly hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, friends!